today's show.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
What's up, people out there?
What's happening? We got a good one today. You have
I have Isais, founder of Ancientarian Nutrition, coming on the show today. He's been with me for all my pro fights, 7 pro fights. Never missed weight, which is a great accomplishment if you ask me, because I'm not a small
100%.
boy. So he'll be jumping on the show. Let's introduce Rob.
all right, Rob.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, man? How you doing? How
I'm
you
excited.
doing?
I get to spin the big wheel.
Yeah, man. You got your
do.
Make it look good. There it is.
That was good. That was nice.
Yeah. Please
Arrows
be.
on both sides.
Please be. Please be the backhand.
Oh,
It's slowing down.
the anticipation.
Ah!
The anticipation. Chug, plant, body shot.
Hey, buy a shot.
Oh, buy a shot.
Hey.
That
All
sounds
right.
good.
I'm good
Right
with
on.
that. What's up, man?
All right. I like whiskey.
I love
Expensive
I
whiskey
feel like
too.
I'm like a little. The dress code's a little bit different. Maybe I should remove the vest. put my
Maybe.
hat on.
Yeah, bring it out.
Bring it
man.
out.
Rock-
I mean,
rock-
you're a
rock the
nutritionist.
vest.
Show us what you're working with. You know what I'm saying?
I say rock the vest. The vest is pimp.
Yeah.
Oh
I
man,
don't know about those
the vest
vests,
with
man.
the drawstrings though. Have you
Telling
seen? I haven't seen
they
that
don't
one
want
before.
the vest with the hood.
Yeah,
The vest with the hood. I always wondered about that.
Maybe
'cause
like
it's
the Bill Belichick, the hood tee.
it's like usually you put a hoodie on because you're cold, right? So if you don't have any sleeves,
That's it. I'm taking it off. I'm taking it off.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
that was reverse psychology right
It
there.
was.
You-
Like, take it off. It's cold in Arizona.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
right now it is. I'm
We
telling
talked
you,
about that in the last episode. Just
100%.
saying that Arizona, like
it's not cold like this usually, for sure. Especially
Yeah.
not in
it
the
gets
middle
cold
of
in the
Phoenix.
desert.
Right. Right. Yeah. I came in. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna rock the vest. I don't
Yeah.
care. But then it didn't make sense because, of course, it didn't have sleeves. I'm like, all right.
But you're still trying to show out what you're doing.
Yeah,
here,
I'm trying
you
to
know?
show up the little guns, But
Yeah.
now I'm
The
with this
guns are
guy here.
popping.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing maybe about Arizona that I see too. There's a lot of skin everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's warm enough to have that, I guess. There's not a lot of skin in Colorado.
Right.
Even during the summer, people are still like in the afternoon, you're still going to get a huge thunderstorm. So you still got to, waterproof stuff. Here in Arizona, there's skin all over.
Oh, yeah.
I just went up to Oregon and literally I was there for 4 days and every day it rained. Not like all day, but every single day it rained.
Rained at some point.
It was different. So it's kind of crazy to come back here and for the last week, it's like rained like every other day. It feels like
You just brought it with you.
being cold. I brought it back here with me.
Yeah.
I can appreciate it though because we don't get enough of it. So
No,
I'll take
man,
it.
it's green out here. There's a lot of green going on, especially on like some of these mountains driving down the 51 right now. They're covered in green.
When we had a drought not too long ago, and now we're back to being green. I'll take it.
Yeah, man. Beautiful landscape.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, but welcome in, man.
Thank you, man. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
I love
we're
it. I love
excited
your
to have
place. I
you.
love this little layout. I love it. It's
I mean,
nice.
so I got to start by just saying.
I don't know about your wheel. I'm gonna have to buy a
this
shot.
wheel,
but
I mean,
hey, at least I didn't get slapped by Marcus, right? I got a backhand
gotta
by
buy- yeah.
Marcus.
you got to
I'm
buy
good.
2 shots though.
Buy 2 shots. I'm good with that.
My bar's kind of expensive.
Yeah. How much are 2 shots
happy
actually?
hour?
What's the price behind
Maybe
those?
like $30 maybe.
Let's
Plus
up
tip.
it. Let's up it. Yeah,
Plus tip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have any signs that say anything anymore,
Yeah,
right?
it's okay. Yeah,
Then
they don't need to know the
it's-
prices
yeah,
right now.
exactly. That's
Yeah,
what I was thinking.
Just bring out the bill. Yeah. But anyway, so I got a wedding coming up in August.
Nice.
How fast does your programming work? You know what I'm saying? How much can I get to look like you in, I don't know, X amount of months? You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a really, really attractive fiance and I really need to look good. Like, get shredded in 30 days, right?
Yeah,
isn't that what the thing is out there?
There's a lot, man. There's so much. There's a lot of programs out there. There's a lot of fads. There's a lot of craziness going on over there, man. A lot of this stuff gets pushed. Money, right? Behind it, there's a lot of money involved. And I always say for you to lose weight, or for instance, if you want to look good, I want to take away the whole losing weight, right?
Okay.
Because when you start saying I want to lose weight,
Mm-hmm.
you start putting these thoughts of like if you don't lose weight within a certain amount, you failed, right? Like
Interesting.
Or
Yeah.
if you're restrict yourself to basically enjoy life, enjoy food, enjoy outings with friends and stuff like that. So, it's different. Like with Marcus, it's athletes. Athletes are different. You have to be. It's your business. It's your job. It's something that you have to be well disciplined. But for somebody like you, young, active, you're getting married, don't want to be too stressed. It's already stressful enough with life and bills and the wedding coming up.
Right,
So, the biggest thing I like to like, not the biggest thing, but one of the recommendations or suggestions, or my opinion of how easy it is, how it can be easy is doing 3 things. I think one of them is I believe one is improving your sleep.
Wow.
They don't
Okay.
talk. They don't talk about that.
Recovery.
Recovery. Like when you start thinking about sleeping, you start, when you go into sleep, people are just, I'm just going to take a nap, right? Or I'm going to go to sleep. But you don't, a lot of, and they don't know, people, the average person's not going to know this unless you go to school or you paid attention to, in school with physics and anatomy, physiology and how the body works. But when you go to school, when you go to sleep, you during that time, 8 to 9 hours of sleep, you're detoxifying your body. So you're decreasing inflammation. You're letting the system work. You're letting the pancreas, the liver, the lungs, everything work, and it's detoxifying in phases. So when you're not sleeping, you're sleeping late. You're on your phone, blue light, everything stimulating your eyes. You're not going to sleep till 12, 1 in the morning just to wake up at 7. And even worse, when you're eating at night, I always recommend not to eat 2 hours before you go to sleep, because think about it, when you're eating and you go to sleep 40 an hour later, your body's really not detoxing, it's actually digesting. Your body's working to digest that food. So when is it going to have time to actually detoxify your body? So that's one of the biggest things that it's very underrated. Have you noticed like when during the day, whether you drink or you're eating, whatever it is, you're bloated at the end of the day a little bit, or you feel a little fluffy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then you wake up and you're like, oh damn, I feel a little lean.
The morning slims. Yeah.
It's
morning
the whole the detoxification process that goes on within those 6 to 8 hours. So that would be a big one. The next one is reducing stress. Then it starts affecting the mental health, right? But even worse is that when you stress, cortisol levels go up, right?
Sure.
So once cortisol levels go up, what does that mean? It stimulates your carbohydrate and fat metabolism. So what that happens is it increases a surge of energy in your body. So and then another step after that is once that happens, then what happens? Your appetite increases. So now all of a sudden you want to eat, your cravings go up for like sweet, salty foods, fatty foods. What do you do
that's where I'm at now.
We're in a busy society, right? You got a job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, doing this, doing that. And when you're stressing, your cortisol levels are go up. What happens? You don't have time to cook. So you go straight to fast food, right? You go straight to like something easy, energy drink, soda, pastries or whatever. So when you start thinking about that, it's all accumulation. So then you start gaining weight. You add that with not sleeping. Yeah. You already have 2 things that are the easiest things that you can actually do, and 100%. It's cheap, and it's free. Yeah, and that would be those 2 things are crucial for weight loss. I know my counterparts probably are going to be like, "Hey, what?" Because everybody, in my field, we all focus on just nutrition, right? Putting a program together and blood work and this, all that is amazing. It's great. Science-based is always science-based. You always have to go with science-based, right? But it's very, very underrated in my field, and I say it because I've seen it with the sleep and stress. That it's one of the things where it's a priority for me with the people that I work with, and it makes a big difference. Nutrition is nutrition. That is like I can put pen and paper, put a program together, get all the blood work together, get some doctors in to help me to see what's going on, decipher the body. What does this client need? That's easy, but how do you coach your clients, the athletes, to improve quality of sleep, to improve, to add methods to reduce stress?
So if you don't mind me kind of elaborating on that part, because the top 2 for you are probably the things I'm lacking in the most right now. Yeah, sleep doesn't happen very often. The stress level, insanely. Like me and my fiance are about a year into this. We haven't been operating a year, but we moved down here February 24th of last year. We're going through it. She classifies me as like a workaholic. I work every single day, beginning to close. Sleep doesn't happen. And you hit it right on the knot, like craving those horrible things late at night. Right. I'm literally going home at the end of the night. I'm like, I need to eat something. And then I just smack on something. But this is I'm ashamed to admit this, but I like midnight 30, 1 a.m. Oh yeah, eating some and then crashing out.
And then how do you feel when you wake up?
Oh man, like I didn't sleep at all.
Right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I still feel that way even when I'm on my nutrition and I still eat like too close to bedtime. Like I'll wake up and still feel a little bit like, oh man, like I didn't get a chance to sleep like I needed to because my body wasn't letting me sleep.
Sure.
it's definitely it's a huge difference.
And that proves that it's not just quality, because he's eating quality food. He's eating high octane food to fuel the body. He's eating clean.
Man,
and
crazy,
even then, you wake up and you're groggy and you're like, so it's not really the quality or the nutrition. It has nothing. It's the stress. It's the putting the body into it's our way of not even our way of relaxing. It's a must for a body to detoxify. To basically think about when you go to sleep, like your body is keeping you, it's using all this energy to keep you very, like, basically you're in a meditating state, right? You're sleeping, if you can sleep a solid 6-8 hours, right? But it's also keeping you alive. The body's crazy, man, what it does. So sleep it's a must. It's a priority.
So in some states, would you say, like, even like, you know, I've heard about the 8 hours, right?
Yeah.
On your side, like sometimes like 6 for me is not bad. I can sleep 6 and wake up and feel like, hey man,
right,
not bad. So how would you, I'm going to dip back into that step 1. How do you intensify or at least improve like your clients, like sleeping methods? Like, is it like a magnesium thing, or do you prescribe like what's kind of like your steps to be like, number 1 needs to be like solid, right?
Right.
Sleep. Elaborate. Like, so what do you do for these guys, like your clients sleep, like even just an athlete or even just a normal person like me?
Right.
What does step number 1 it kind of involve?
That's a good question. The first one is let me clear that throat again. The first one is it's educating my clients, right? Like, because another thing too is I just don't put programs in front of people and say do it. You know, I live the lifestyle, so it's really easy and natural for me to actually coach this stuff, because it's not something that you learn it in school, but you coach it because it's what you learn. But are you living the lifestyle, right? So I'm living proof that it works. My loved ones are doing it. All my clients are doing it. Athletes that I'm working with are doing it. And you know, to answer your question though, I mean, I can talk all day, bro, but I'll keep it short.
Love it.
But you know, the biggest thing is coaching and educating the basics, right? And after that, telling, you know, showing them exactly what methods we can do to actually improve the sleep. Now, it's not going to happen overnight, but biggest thing for sleep is magnesium is one of the whole population in this country. I don't know about the world, but in this country is the number 1 mineral that we're deficient in, magnesium.
Is it really?
The population, it's crazy, magnesium. But when you start, and I don't want to go into depths with this, but we can talk about it later. But you know, the soil, like when you think about soil, our vegetables, our fruit, our soil is depleted. It's not where it used to be, where our great grandfathers back in the 1940s, our soil is depleted. So when you're eating conventional foods, you're think about all the pesticides and everything that it's being sprayed on. It's killing all the minerals. And you know, so with me, it's a lot of this soil-based these minerals are being depleted. So you're not
salt-based fertilizer, all these salt-based fertilizers that are going into the market. It definitely is depleting our nutrients of our plants, you know, and of the soil, period.
Right.
So I mean, that's why they're switching the way that the agriculture is tilling and doing inside of their industry. They switched a lot of things back to how it was to make the soil do what it's supposed to do. Right. Because we're killing the soil by adding all these different, not only just pesticides and insecticides and all those different things, but also just sodium-based fertilizers, essentially. You know, all these sodium fertilizers that are just synthetic, that have been made.
Right.
Oh, throw it on your plant. Yeah, you're going to get some tomatoes out of it. And it might have the right amount of nutrients that it needs in it based off of inorganic product, but it's not going to be what you need it to be organic and real, you know.
Right.
So
I did not know that. I didn't even know that there was sodium-based fertilizers at all.
Oh, bro,
yes. So everything's, I say sodium-based, but liquid fertilizer, right? Most liquid fertilizers are like a salt-based, essentially. Like, you know, I came from the industry, from cannabis industry, and even at the last spot that I was working at, we would buy raw salts and then take those salts and add them to water. Some of them needed to be broken down in hot water because they were too solid to be broken down, and just rather take too long for them to break down and what's the word I'm looking for? Coagulate, I guess, with the water correctly, so that everything would feed out correctly. But so we just have to throw coil in there, heat the water up, throw sodium in there. Those sodium's different. I mean, calcium, magnesium, all these different zinc. You know, different nutrients essentially that we're adding to water and breaking them down as pure salt and then feeding it to plants. Completely unorganic, right? Completely unorganic. But that's where I learned it at, and I learned that that's what a lot of these farmers were doing for a long time. Once these liquid fertilizers came out, they were buying liquid fertilizers because it's easier to go ahead and add those to their water.
And just cheaper too?
And cheaper alternative. And then having to go through and till your soil, or have to do what's called, I can't think about the crop, what they call it cropping, but adding different types of crops to your soil, right? So not growing the same plants in the same soil, because you got these cornfields that are growing corn constantly inside of that soil. That's really bad for the environment and for your vegetable garden, period, to grow the same vegetables or the same product in the same spot constantly. You want to mix it up, add things that take more magnesium, take less calcium, take more calcium, less magnesium, helps
the roots, helps the ground, soil, everything from growth.
100%. Wow. Some plants that go deeper roots, some of that are shallower roots, like you want to play that. And there's a lot of science behind that as well. More science than I actually have for how that's supposed to be done. But it's huge in what we're getting. That's why we don't have much of a nutrient dense food nowadays.
Yeah.
So that plays into kind of like what
bro. I mean,
like the magnesium deficiency.
Magnesium, zinc. I mean, zinc. I mean, I can give you a whole list of all the things that that as a population that we're depleted on and deficient, I should say, and magnesium is one of them. And magnesium, now with magnesium, you got to be careful because there's different kinds of magnesium.
I was going to say,
right? there's all kinds of magnesium.
Like 12 of them, like
so the one that I usually recommend and with my doctors that I work with and we recommend and we prescribe for our clients is that magnesium bisglycinate. Just helps you. It relaxes the nervous system. It kind of puts you in a very calm, and it helps with anxiety. It helps with blood pressure, stuff like that. But it's something that we give our clients. And we combine it with ashwagandha, which is
nice.
Ashwagandha is I think that one's so many benefits. But you put ashwagandha, magnesium together, bro. Like it's one of the best things
you're kidding me
ever, bro. Oh God, it just you got to give it a shot. Give it a shot.
I would love
if you have a doctor, talk to your doctor. Obviously, I'm
about to hire you, but it's like I don't know. But I need that McGee, that maniac discount right there. Look at this guy, man.
But yeah, bro. I mean, ashwagandha. To answer your question, though, I think I believe ashwagandha, supplementation, ashwagandha, and magnesium, putting those two together is great. Another thing is I work with a lot of my clients where we journal a lot, and there's no ifs or buts. You have to give yourself 15 minutes to yourself. Doesn't matter if you're running 10 businesses or one, you have to give yourself 15 minutes, even if it's in the restroom and you stay overtime, whatever it is, give yourself 15 minutes to really, really recap on gratitude. When you have to stay in the state of gratitude, because we're so disconnected with Earth right now. Like it's crazy all the stuff that's going on right now. Like we're so disconnected, and we have to, hence my name Ancientarian, right? Like when I created Ancientarian, it was not just nutrition. It was putting it was the collective of my logo is a triangle, right?
Nice.
Which represents the pyramid, represents a lot of other stuff, but it represents mind, body, and soul.
Okay.
And what it is that when we speak about nutrition, we even with the athletes, it's when you think about nutrition, you think about the body, right? The body is exercise, movement, and nutrition, but sleep is lacking, right? But nobody else talks about the mind and the soul. When you start talking,
it's a hard one to talk about, though.
Yeah,
and it's like the mind again. The mind and soul should be over the body, because without the mind and soul, your body doesn't work.
Operate, yeah.
We're an electrical being. This is just a meat suit. Yep. We're in a 3D world, bro.
Just a capsule.
It's just a capsule.
Suit, So let me dial it back for a minute, just to get a essence for like what got you into it. So what really got you into nutrition? What was the turning point in your life that said this is what you want to do, this is your passion, this is what you want to chase after?
I love that question. Awesome. I love that question. No, so I was in the medical field for 20 years. I went to school, got my degree. I was in radiology. I worked as an X-ray tech, as a CT tech, trauma rooms, trauma level 3, 4.
Oh man,
I was in angio doing small procedures. I worked with neonates, with babies, newborn. Dude, I've done it all. 20 years. 20 years in the industry. I was in the management level to almost sitting in the round table of directors, seeing how insurances work, seeing how the money works, seeing how hospitals work. I worked in clinic settings, hospital settings. So I got a good glimpse of what really the medical field is. And when I got into the medical field, I went in there to help people, right? You go in there to make a difference, and then I finished my career as an MRI tech. The last 7 years, I was an MRI tech, before I retired from the medical field. Retired for so many reasons, just because a lot, 80% of what they were doing, things that they were thinking of, the future, where it was leading, it's just very dark, and I that's a strong word, actually, dark, but it's borderline there, man, because all the things that I was seeing is crazy. And so I've always been involved in training. I've always I've competed at the amateur level and little tournaments here and there, local stuff. And I've always been, for the most part, healthy person. I always like to eat. And my thing is I love researching, man. I'm just like database, research all the time. And I've always had a love for cooking. Cooking, nutrition. That's that's another thing we can talk about too. The cooking. I love cooking, bro. That's my domain, man. That's that's where I connect with source, the soul, and everything. But 15 years ago, I started talking to dietitians. So dietitians, you need a 4-year, 6 masters. Then you need then you do a bachelor's, then the masters if you want to do masters, 4 to 6 years, and they do all this schoolwork, right? Like they do, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. I want to be a dietitian because I'm already involved in it. I'm doing it. I'm learning it, blah, blah. And at that time, I took a bunch of little certifications, 3 months here, 4 months there, 15 years ago or something like that. And I was so intrigued with it. But then I started learning it, and I started seeing what these dietitians were doing at the hospitals and clinics. Sure. So we were working with a lot of cancer patients. We were working with, chemotherapy, people going into, we were putting in chest supports, and then we would go send them to the recovery room. Then they would align with the dietitian. Some of them will actually stay in the hospital for a few days, whatever. So the dietitian would give them a program. And throughout the years, long story short, I was like, what is going on with these programs? Why are these dietitians giving these cancer patients sugar? Why are they giving them processed apple juice and sugar and bagels and cream cheese and pastries and like all fast-acting carbohydrates, minimal protein, a little bit of fat, but it was just crazy the sugar amounts that they were giving. And when you go into cancer, I mean, sugar feeds the cancer cells, right? So, and I don't want to go in depth with all that stuff, but so I started seeing a lot of things that I didn't agree with this. And then it started I started repelling, and I was like, I don't think I want to do that. They're not doing the right thing. Sure. Because I was more on the holistic Eastern medicine, that's what intrigued me. And I was like, this is not it. So I started popping in and started seeing what it would take to be a dietitian. I was like, this is not it. Because I already did my schooling. I got my degree. And even with my school in radiology, they kind of you're programmed to just do your job, don't ask questions, right? Right. I'm the guy that wants to ask questions. I'm the guy that I'm for the people, man. You know, I'm for the people. So, I was getting in a lot of disagreements with management and directors and even dietitians. Like, why? I would ask them legit questions and they couldn't answer it. Wow. Basically, their hands were cuffed. I was like, no, I got to do something different. So within like the last 10 years of my school, of my career in the medical field, I went to school. I went to clinical nutrition, dove deep into nutritional therapy, in digestive health, basically the brain gut connection, the bacteria, the microbiome, went into Eastern medicine, and then more of the holistic practices and stuff. So I dove deep, went to school, got my certifications, and then I started doing it. I was doing it part-time. I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get out of this field because this is what I want to do. So 8 years into it, I mean, it's been about 4 years now that I stopped, that I quit the medical field. So I've been making an impact. So I'm 4 years, right around the same time that I would jump into being a professional MMA fighter. You had just take that step as well. Right. We met at the Starbucks. I mean, I still remember I called them and I said, bro, like we got to link up. We got to do this.
Starbucks was
we actually had water, but we met. It was like a common. It was like in between both of us. Common meeting place. We couldn't find anything else. Let's just go to Starbucks.
Yeah. Which that's what everyone does, right? Starbucks. You can't go wrong with Starbucks. There's something there for everybody, right? Business wise.
Right. You wouldn't be like, I'm not a fan of the coffee though.
Iced coffee? Come on, bro.
Yeah, I'm a matcha tea guy anyways. I'm a tea guy. I like teas. I don't
What's
go
up
for
with you and the tea?
I'm a tea guy, man. This guy is peak. I was already tea before in Japan.
Are you big on tea too?
Yeah, I got leveled up his game a little bit.
Is this kind of like,
what kind of tea is that?
No, that's coffee, man.
That's coffee. That's
bad. That's a
latte.
man. That's all right, bro.
If I'm having latte, I need mostly milk milk, and a little bit of coffee.
Oh, really? I need to see. I'm like the exact.
That's
I'm
why I
like,
stay away from those.
Yeah, I'm like, how many shots could you fit into this thing with a little bit of milk? That's kind of like where my life is.
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
yeah. The least amount of milk possible, huh?
Least amount of milk. But I like that frothy stuff though. You know?
Yeah.
But
we gotta ask the people what they think. You know, more milk, less milk, black. Where we at with this?
definitely more caffeine, bro. Definitely more caffeine. But that's interesting though. So you guys, I mean, as you were saying, you were starting to turn the page.
Oh,
and
bro,
then you
yeah.
meet Marcus. Marcus is on the uprise.
Which we had already met. We met at the UFC gym when I was training back there back in the day. He was training too, so we had sparred a couple times.
Oh, so that's what you were saying. So you were actually.
So I moved about 8 years ago. I'm originally from San Diego. I moved over here.
Yeah.
And the first gym, I was looking at the gyms and I was like, man, where am I gonna go? Because I had a gym back there, and I'm like, damn. At that time, I saw the lab. It was the lab, and then the UFC.
Yep.
And I kind of went the cheap way. I went the UFC way. It's like let me work my way up, and then I'll work to the lab.
Exactly I did.
I was going to say it wasn't like a backhand from you that put him out of the gym or something like that. Be like, man, I can't play with this guy no more. He's like, this big, and he just whack gave you one, huh?
Nope, we just took our time, both of us. Yeah, the UFC gym, and then eventually.
Yeah, bro. So I met him 8 years ago. That was the first time I met him. That's when I was still kind of like, I want to get in. I want to really dive into this. Like I was excited. We trained with these guys, sparred with these guys. But then I was like, nah, I love this, but I also love nutrition. Also, it's like, so that's why I combine both. Like I was like, man, I'm gonna get into like there's room for what I'm trying to bring, what I'm trying to basically share to the world. There's room for it in the athlete world. Yeah. And it's made a big difference. I know that with my athletes, it's made a lot of big difference. And I'm grateful for them to actually believing in the system and the process, So with Marcus, I've been there since day one, I'm grateful for that opportunity that I had, because I know he was already an amateur and he was fighting and stuff, but his first pro fight, man, I've been there since 7 fights now. So it's kind of nice to see the progress and see where he's taken his body and how he feels. And, but yeah, it's exciting, bro. So that's how I got into this field. I just, the medical field it was a bittersweet ending in a sense. It just got me to really, to chase what I really love, my passion, right?
Well, it seems like
which every ending is that way, right?
Yeah.
Isn't every ending supposed to be a little bit bittersweet? It's the end of one thing and the unknowing what's coming forward,
right?
100%,
and just taking that step into it,
right?
So that's.
Well, it seems like he's got like all around of kind of what you want, like you said, like an ending of a career, right? He made an impact then, but he also like rose, adapted, and made connections. So that separation from that old career field was a lot easier, because now he's diving into a new challenge, a new outlook, a new outreach and everything like that, right? So kind of like
fulfilling, fulfilling in a bigger way than just self, right?
Yeah. Because now, like you said, he completed all that stuff he wanted to do then, but recognized an issue, researched, made himself a new goal, if you will, and rose to that occasion, right? So I don't know, sounds like a win.
No, you're right. You're right.
Mentality to me.
I say this all the time. Like it's like, for me, it's like the best of both worlds. I'm able to bring my passion, the nutrition, and what I love, into a game that I was actually participating in. I never went the professional way. I never went as high as obviously Marcus, but win or lose, seeing the hard work that they put in, seeing following and trusting the process, and me being able to coach this side of because they have different coaches. So me being able to be a little small part in his career and all the other athletes, it's like a win-win for me. It's like, I couldn't have asked it for a better ending.
Well, there's a little bit of pressure behind that too, right? Because if you're looking at him, like, you hold a vital part.
I love pressure, bro.
Yeah, like to Marcus's part, right? like he entrusts you. Like Marcus is like, I'm going to you for. Right. Like,
I trust the fact that I'm going to be on weight come fight day. Right.
And he's a big guy.
Not only that,
I'm you say little thick boy.
Big guy. I'm not happy to say it, but most of the time I've been pretty good about our fight starts. Yeah. But there's one, the one that I ended up losing. There was that one. Yeah. And I had just fought 6 weeks before, and I had a little pig out week, and I got up to like 176 pounds. And in 5 weeks, I had to get back down to 135.
Oh my!
Yep. Yeah, that was I could say that was one of the toughest.
That was one of the toughest. That's why you don't do that. That's why you don't get huge in between.
Yeah.
Fights.
So let me ask you. Okay, I want to circle around this because this one's interesting to me. You pig out. You have this thing, okay? And then I kind of want like
fries.
Taters. Don't say it.
Pizza.
Don't say nachos.
Nachos.
Right. Don't say nachos. No, I had the best nachos here, remember? But kind of like that dynamic between like, you know, client and like source base.
Right.
Like, you know, you have a guy like this who does have that kind of pig out time. And then you're like, okay, he didn't trust you. Like, oh man, like I messed up. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to say it causes tension, but it causes some kind of friction to be like, you know,
right.
Yeah. So
yeah.
We were both like, oh, what? Like, are you sure you're gonna take this thing?
But I think where the mutual ground was like, all right, bro, this is gonna be hard for both of us. You're down.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know? Going to have to do these things.
Let's go.
There's no error in between.
Because
right?
because you have to. Another thing is like he has 5 weeks. He's 40 pounds over. Like when you're in a camp, like with the goal during the camp, even during maintenance is to decrease fat, get as as lean as you can, healthy. Sure. You know, the weight cut is more water weight, right? Like you're not trying to lose fat. You're not at that time. It's just you're just extreme cutting weight. Like you're cutting water, right? So with us, it was like I'm not gonna tell you the protocols that we had, but we have a bunch of good stuff. But I was confident, but I knew it was gonna be tough because I had to dig deep into my books, and he had to dig deep into his training and stuff like that. And the worst, not the worst part, but the thing that we had to be careful with is his training performance, right? Like you don't want to deplete him and increase fat loss and increase water loss and all this other stuff. And you're depleting him. So what's the point of taking the fight when he's having crappy sessions? And so that was one of the biggest thing to properly fuel him for his training, but at the same time, removing fat from the body. Wow. And so it was a process, and it was, I would say it was one of the most challenging process of my career, but I loved it because it gave me even more of like this worked and it worked really good.
Yep, we hit 36. So
you did hit 36.
I hit 36 on the mark.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about, I'm looking at like a broader spectrum here. I'm looking at like surrounding yourself with like great people. He's not just a nutritionist. He's thinking about your training schedule. He's thinking about you and trust, or like even like trusting you, the work he's putting in. He's like, Marcus, you got to come through with what I'm putting out there.
Yeah. It's lifestyle, right? Yeah. It's like the lifestyle, like everything behind it. It's all about lifestyle.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
Not just the nutrition. Nutrition adds to the lifestyle, right? Which is the biggest play of it.
I mean, honestly, I would not like to have his job on that aspect to be like, he's got to keep you filled enough to train, but you still got to lose.
Right.
Cut.
Right.
But then also once fight time comes, like you said, like, we got to drop this much pounded that Marcus doesn't fall over dead in 30 seconds.
And then we got to get him back up to where he needs to be.
Yeah, because that's the easy
back into the cage, feeling good.
Right, that's the easy part. Believe it or not, that's the easy part.
Really,
the hard part is fueling the body. Because
a lot of people have a hard time with that.
It's a science thing, right? Like you don't, and again, not to go into that, but you got to bring all those nutrients back properly and in the right steps that you took them out. So you gotta fuel the body. You don't want to be over or undersaturated. You want to bring in his fighting weight, and you want him to feel good, energized, and like he didn't cut weight.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest challenge for a lot of fighters.
Yeah.
So what's the check-in? Like, if you don't mind me asking, like how often do you check in with him?
At least multiple times weekly during camps for sure.
Okay.
During camps, and honestly, I again the app that we use as well. I put in my weight information, water intake, so he has access to that.
Text,
as well. So if there is a time where he's like, "Whoa, hey, you recorded a weight that's a little bit high. What's going on? You didn't stick to the plan. Right. Work out for a couple days. What
elevated.
Happened? Exactly.
What'd you do, man?
Those slushies, bro.
Did you smack 2 of those nachos or what? Like, that's a 6-pound difference.
Nachos, chicken sandwich, pizza, and 2 slushies.
That's real though, actually.
No, it is real. You coming in, man. Now I know the face to face. If I see you walking to the door, I'm calling you immediately. Your boy's here. You better come over, man. You were gonna explain to him.
Yeah, he's taking it a little bit far. He said both nachos and the chicken sandwich with the fries, truffle.
He said he's taking it home to his wife. Wifey texts me because every time Marcus comes, he's like taking it for the wife. I doubt it. He's one of those who's like eating it on the way home. Being like, Brett didn't give me any fries.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
100%.
No, so it sounds like a lot of accountability.
It
like,
is.
Especially around your life. You have this guy like checking in with you, making sure you're doing your stuff, right? I mean, that's kind of like the thing.
And I think that's some of the problems that like you have with different people. I think that's why our relationships come where it is, because like trusting, I think he trusts the fact that that I'm going to be diligent about what we have to do, even if it's time to grind. You know, it's like, I'm not going to come here and get those nachos, even though I want to. Even though I want to, I'm not going to. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be diligent. I'm going to hold myself accountable. And if I'm holding myself accountable, that's less accountability that he has to hold me up to.
Right. No late night munchie session. Like that.
None. Not one.
None of that.
Not a single
not
one.
Especially camp. Outside of camp,
Maybe.
But especially inside of camp, like we said, I'm not a small bantamweight. I'm pretty big bantamweight. Like 76 for a bantamweight, it is pretty big. And
Massive,
I mean, it's not like I was really trying to get that big. I just happened to enjoy eating for a full week. And
it was that much.
It was one full week. But
that is crazy.
From Friday to Friday, I was already back up to 176 pounds. Crazy. Right?
That's wild.
Crazy. So I'm not a small bantamweight. And it's crazy to say because I could walk around. I do walk around, and he records it at 155 a lot of times. 155, 156. That's the weight that we like to start camp with because I plan on it getting stronger, faster, better during camps. I'm not necessarily trying to get in shape. I'm already in shape before the camp starts. Everything else is just upped, right? So I need to be down at that weight so that my body can translate and work out at that weight. So that's where we try to stay, 56.
So how do you, like going from like a fighter like this, right? Like is it, you find it more challenging? Like I can understand you find some different challenges, right? Yeah. So say like a guy like me who really doesn't have to like make weight. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, obviously with more markets, you're gonna have a little bit more discipline. Like me working at this place that's you know, putting in 14 to 18 hour days. How do you attack that mostly to be like, you know, I would give you that respect to be like, man, grill me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Keep my ass in check. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like Marcus trusts you with that. How do you find the difference? I mean, do you take on a lot of other clients that aren't like fighters and stuff like that? Like what's kind of like your clientele base? Where do you?
I get, that's a good question. It's all based on, it's all individual. You know, we all have it's a unique metabolic blueprint, right? We all have a different, you know, just because broccoli works for me, doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Just because journaling is going to work for me, it doesn't mean it's going to, you know, work for you.
Interesting.
So, you know, a lot of the methods that works for somebody else is not going to work for you. So for me, it's all customized to the client. This is not a fat diet. This is not a program where I give it to everybody. I give you the same program like Marcus or you know, everything is customized. So I put a lot of heart and effort, a lot of sweat behind this, and it's a progress. It's a progress. It's a process through,
and then lifestyle, like you said,
and
too,
lifestyle.
right?
You know, and what I do, what works for me, getting to the client is I believe that what it is that they see me living the lifestyle.
Sure.
They see me not just preaching it, but actually doing it with me, my family, my loved ones. I live the life. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't like to enjoy a little drink, some nachos. You bring me some nachos, I'll kill a couple. I mean, I'm not gonna, you know.
Half the plate.
Half the plate later.
I dare you not to eat our nachos. Ask Marcus, I dare you.
Damn.
More for me.
He's banking on that. He's banking on
that. Please. Or do you? No,
I think you should lay off.
Yeah, I'll take them. Yeah, no mind me.
And then he's like, all right, man. He goes, I'm gonna make you cut more. Just
but yeah, man, it's all an individual. So what I do is there's this thing that I have it's a 5-step phase where it's a questionnaire where we go really in depth. Because this is not like a, you know, it's hey, how much do you weigh? How much do you want to lose? You know, blah, blah, blah. What are your favorite foods? Okay, boom, program, here you go. Like, that's not going to do anything, especially for somebody like you. So a lot of my clients are active professionals, meaning that they have businesses like yours. They're in corporate, like that. They're on the go all the time.
Well, that's comforting.
So that's you know, a lot of my clients are in that realm. Now I have clients that are just your standard active, you know, average person that works a 9 to 5 and just wants to lose a little bit of weight, or they're having gut issues or high blood pressure, whatever it is. So I work with all kinds of clients.
Wow, nice.
And so I feel like what I bring to the plate is I'm able to basically create plans and programs for everybody. And so far I have been able to, and I love what I do. So it makes it a lot easier, you know. Sure. So somebody with you know, to answer your question, it would be more of a taking you through those steps of like all these, you know, sitting with you and really just having a conversation and going through this questionnaire and really being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And there's no BS behind it. There's no lies. Like if you eat 2 cheeseburgers every night at midnight, that's what I want to know. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to tell you, damn, bro, like that, you got to cut off. Like, no, bro, like, because when you start thinking about, like, we all have it. We all have trauma. When you start thinking about especially people that are obese, overweight, that have any metabolic syndromes or any issues with that they're going with their body, they're not happy with their body or whatever it is. It's trauma that we either during childhood or adulthood, or a trauma that they have now for whatever reason. We all have different kinds of traumas that affects us, and it's why we get into these binges of like some people go into like not eating, some people go into overeating, some people go into drugs, alcohol. Like the trauma creates that. So then for me is I work from the trauma, from the core, from the inside out. And that's why I got into this business. You know, obviously we all need money, and you know, money's money. But for me, it's changing somebody's life is way better than receiving a paycheck to me. You know, because you make a big difference.
100%.
That's where you find that fulfillment, that greater than yourself, right?
Right.
So that's a beautiful thing right there. Well, I got a couple questions just to ask you, just off the top, just some basic questions that I think people would really enjoy just to hear your take on that. So if you wouldn't mind answering some of those questions, that'd be awesome.
See. It depends on what kind of questions. We'll see. I don't know.
What is your size? No,
What's your size?
My size what? My size what? That's the first question. I didn't get an answer.
You answer it how you think you should answer it.
Yeah, go ahead. We're down for wherever you want to take
we'll see where this goes. Okay.
Let's see how much we can get out of you.
What is our ratings on here? I don't think
it was PG, bro.
Oh man.
Tell me your size.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's stick to just the size of your shoe.
All right. Geez, get head out of the gutter. Besides that shirt. That shirt's really tight.
It's medium.
Yeah. Did both of you wear the same shirt?
That's crazy, right?
Bro, this is large. It's just I made a mistake of putting it in a dryer. Freaking got into a
must have been a really hot dryer. That dryer was really hot.
Dryer is crazy. All my stuff is shrunk. It's super
warm water.
Can't use
really
it.
high heat.
No, right? Yeah. But no, drop it. Let's see.
So one of the first questions I'd like to ask is, how can someone lose 5 to 15 pounds healthy without counting calories? Because everyone always wants to count calories. It's all about the caloric intake, right? Which I mean is important, but you know, is that the most important?
Yeah, no, I love it. And it's actually going to go back. It's going to go back to what we were talking about. I think, I believe that the biggest 3 things that I preach is what we were talking about is sleeping patterns, stress, and intermittent fasting.
Okay.
Intermittent fasting. Yeah. You know,
which I'm doing today.
And I touched a little bit on the stress and sleep, the importance and all that stuff. But let me touch a little bit on intermittent fasting. You know, fasting is, and there's a lot of literature out there. There's a lot of meta-analysis and stuff like that. And I've been doing it for 15 years now. Again, been doing it with my clients, and there's steps to take into it. I'm not saying everybody should go fast. Everybody should do intermittent, because it takes steps. There's more to just saying, I'm going to not eat, you know? But intermittent fasting is basically you choose a window. I don't like using the word restrictive, but it's a restrictive eating window, right? Okay. But I don't like using that word, because then you put it in your head and you're like, oh, damn, I can only... But it's more so because when you understand the science behind it, you understand what you're actually accomplishing and what you're doing, then it doesn't become restrictive. It becomes more of a goal. And then when the goal gets basically accomplished, you feel way better.
Sure.
So for me, for instance, I choose my eating windows from 12 to 6 p.m. So it's 6 hours of eating. Okay. And then it's 18 hours of fasting, basically not eating anything.
Which that's the vegetative state for cannabis. I'm just throwing that out there, but
vegetative state. Yeah. Like what? Like
just
what
trying to grow, when you're just trying to grow more foliage, trying to grow more of the plant, right? More sites, more node sites, essentially. So you're trying to create more leaf, more stalk, more plant, essentially. So that's the vegetative state. We're just trying to create the biggest plant so that when it decides to flower, we have the most. Most nodes, bigger yields. Nice, and I mean, that goes for corn, that goes for turnips, that goes for everything.
Yeah. So. And it's the same thing with the body. When you start thinking about the plants, how it works with the plants in the soil. Yeah. And when we're doing it, and I'm gonna tell you right now, like when I was 22 years old, I was, lifting weights, training. I was all big and I thought I felt good, but man, I'm 42 years old, and I feel like...
You're 42?
Yeah, I'm 42, bro.
You do not look 42.
Thank you, sir.
I wasn't going to throw it out there, but since you throw it out
there... This dude's in his 40s? You need to tell me some there's a secret to life over here. We got a secret to life. We will bring him back. They
actually have him in The Secret, the book. I don't know. I'm sure. That's
42
not
years old.
Don't
42 years old,
that.
Bob. And I'm saying this not to just, 42, look at me. No, it's I feel like I'm 22.
Wow. Okay.
I feel when I was 22, I felt like I was 42. You know, now that I'm comparing myself like 20 years later, and why is because I changed my ways of eating, but incorporating intermittent fasting it's fasting, big changer, bro. Big changer.
So those three things is going back to like what Marcus was asking. So you have the, kind of like the whole thing from sleep. You fix that up a little bit, at least, like you said, it seems like every step though, it's not just one step. There's
10 steps for one step.
Exactly. Okay. So you have sleep.
To accomplish sleep, there's about 10 steps.
Right. And then you have the stress relief.
Yep.
And then now you have something like where you're going to throw something like intermittent fasting. You have a restricted, a window, if you will, of eating. Then that's where someone's going to be like, not saying the magic pill, but that's going to be like, you want 15 pounds dropped? There we go. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And like I was saying, like it's a collective, right? Like I was like nutrition is just part of it, but then which is the body, but mind and soul, that's where soul comes in. We got to eat for purpose. We got to eat with purpose, right? So when you're eating from 12 to 6, it's okay. And it's good to know the basics, the science behind that.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to look up and research what the body does when you're sleeping.
Sure.
When you start learning that stuff, which is very basic, takes about 30 minutes of your life just doing that, and then understanding what intermittent fasting does at a basic, understanding,
right?
You're gonna really see exactly what you're not really see what you're gonna meant to be, but you're gonna see exactly how you feel when you start incorporating these things.
Sure.
And I can go with all, I can sit here and tell you all the benefits and all that stuff, but it's one of the easiest and it's free things to do.
It's awesome.
But it's part of the soul though, because again, you have to have purpose, right? You have to eat with intention. A lot of, in society nowadays, especially in this country, we eat with the intention of satisfying our palate. A burger, double cheese, or just triple bacon.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You
Can
bring
we
me
have
a
an
triple
egg on there? Fried egg?
fried egg on there.
Avocado? Throw that on there, right?
Like
BLT burger.
right. We over and
Double.
Double.
Garlic parm fries too, man.
Oh man,
yeah.
so
That's me.
And I'm not saying that stuff again. I'm not gonna sit here and be a hypocrite. I'll eat stuff like that once in a while.
Sure.
Once in a while. It's not an every weekend thing. Maybe once a month or so. I'm at a party. If you invite me to your place tomorrow, I'll come and eat here. But that was just a little like.
Yeah, it was a little jab. I took that.
Please invite
You
me.
hear that? Yeah. He was like, if you invite me, then I'll come in. But
Then I'll come,
I'm going to pull Marcus's ass out
I'll
of here.
splurge a little bit.
100%. Do you have any coupons? $30, $40 coupons? Where are those at? Send me the entire book.
Yeah.
Damn.
Come eat with Marcus, man.
Right,
Like,
right. But no, man, it's all about purpose, bro. So
that.
that's where the soul comes in, the energy. Just you gotta treat food as nourishment, not as something that's just gonna satisfy you right away. You got to think about nourishment, because even for athletes, it doesn't matter. Like for the average person like yourself, myself, we got to think about, look at all these diseases that it's going on, cancer, heart, heart issues. And you got a lot of issues that are going on. And you have to think it has to do with the stress that we're living in, with the stress that we are basically bringing to ourselves, the inability to actually have very deep sleeping patterns and not eating right. It's 100%. All collective, bro.
Yeah.
So,
that
when you start looking at those things, you're going to start seeing things, and it's a thing where it works little by little. You got to it's not something that you have to go right away. It just takes it's baby steps.
Okay.
So,
well, I guess that goes right into my next question then, because is it necessary to hire nutritionists to lose weight?
Ooh, that's a good question. Is it necessary to hire a nutritionist? Hell yeah, it is. Just hire me, and that's it. No, I'm just playing.
Make sure you plug yourself in there. What revenue are we getting off that?
Right. How much are we making off this? Nothing. Dang it. All right.
Yeah. No, but I think honestly, to answer that question, the best way to answer that question is if anybody's listening to this episode and whoever shares this episode, and they honestly, if you stick with learning the basics about, sleeping, stress, and intermittent fasting, you can go a long way. You can actually move further, a couple steps ahead, and you're gonna be good. Now for an athlete, is it necessary? I know a lot of athletes that don't have nutritionists, that never had a nutritionist. It's more so for, like with me and Mark, for an athlete, it's more of it's when you start getting at a level like where Mark is, and these guys start getting to that level in the professional and the higher rankings, and you got a lot of stuff going on.
Sure.
You know, you have all these coaches, you have all this homework, you got a family, you got kids, you got businesses, you got jobs.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot, you know? So in that sense, in that regards, like you need somebody to basically keep you aligned, disciplined, and basically put everything in a platter.
Sure.
Now the relationship matters, you know, you have to trust each other, you have to work with each other, everything has to flow. And, you know, for me, luckily, and I've been grateful that our relationship's grown for the past 7 years, and it flows really good. So to answer your question, if you really need one, there are good nutritionists out there, and then there's bad nutritionists out there. And I'm not afraid to say that, just because there's always good doctors out there, and there's bad doctors just with anything.
Sure.
With
good people, bad people.
Good people, bad people, right?
Yeah.
So, yin and the yang.
Yeah, no, really though, you got to have one without or you can't have one without the other.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So, I mean, for a nutritionist though, I feel like, I think it's more of the last resort, in a sense of like if you really need, if you're super, like if you're feeling lost, you tried everything, you've done everything, you Googled everything, nothing works. Whatever, you followed podcasts, whatever it is, I think, and you're busy and it's becoming more of a stressful thing that more than anything, then definitely I recommend hiring somebody, and just a consultation, speaking with somebody, with a nutritionist. You know,
that's where I was going to head next, because mostly of the other part, like let's just say it's not just about like, you know, doing the research podcast, or you tried everything, you tried this, you tried that. And what about those some people that really just like don't know, and maybe they're afraid to dip into it, or I mean, lack of a better term, maybe they're just like, I'd rather have somebody just do it. Right. Like, you know, because like, you know, I'm not passionate about this. I really have never really dipped into that side of world. I'd rather be shown, like, you know, lack of a better term, hold my hand through this first part so I can gain kind of like that sensibility of what you're doing. And then I'm pretty sure like after that, you could show me the way, and I can be like, oh, you know, the homie hooked me up. I know exactly what I need to do here. And then like, you know, whatever, like, is that kind of like part of your job too? Sometimes like, you know, like baby steps and like helping the people.
It is baby steps. A lot of my, I have a lot of referrals that actually are even embarrassed to talk. And they tell me right away, like, I'm embarrassed to even tell you, like, and their stories are even not that bad. But again, it's the trauma though, you know, it's the trauma that they're dealing with. And the referrals that I get is a lot of people that get like, they're afraid to talk to somebody. Like you said, that was a good point. Like, so there are people like that. And, you know, for me, it's like, I could only do so much, right? Like, maybe I should be doing more of these podcasts or maybe more videos or, you know, to spread the wealth. And it's something that I actually thought about doing a lot, you know, for a while now, but it's needed. It's needed because there's a lot of people that just are afraid to, or embarrassed to, for some reason.
Well, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, then, I mean, how about you two? I mean, because this guy obviously has a wonderful story to tell. He's been through a lot, and then you've been with him for this long. What was, I mean, you don't have to go into depths, but what was your conversation like? Kind of like you saying, you went down to the trauma, you dug deep, you took the time and the effort. Marcus trusted you on that aspect. Like, how did that conversation go?
I think a lot of it too is that we relate, and you know, we both grew up in the hood, man.
Did you really?
You know, I all grew up in the hood, you know, and we've had talks.
Did you guys really?
Yeah. We you know, we've had talks about you know, our upbringing, our family, you know, our family, our kids, you know, we brought up a lot of things, and we have a lot of things. There's a lot of things that we kind of relate with. I shouldn't say that we relate with. And, you know, he's a grinder, he's a workaholic, he works hard and everything that he does. I'm the same way. So there was you know, we clicked really good, and that, I believe that's what makes our relationship even better with work. It makes it so easy, you know. And for the most part, I do that with a lot of my athletes. I bond with a lot.
Just authenticity, right? Like, it's just, relationships aren't built in a day, right?
No,
it's just like our relationship.
So at least for us moving on, at least for the people that are going to be watching and everything, we'll obviously do everything to make sure that they can find you and reach you and everything. But hopefully we'll get some questions in that we are asked, and then like, you know, some of these we'll save to bring you back on. But for a lot of the people, I mean, you want to tell them how they can find you and how they can reach out? Yeah,
definitely. No, if you guys go under Instagram, Ancientarian, at Ancientarian, or if you go into, if you want to look into my history, my book, not my book. What am I talking about? That's later. I just exposed what I'm trying to do now. No, but you know, if you want to go into my website, ancientarian.com, there's a lot of cool stuff there. You'll see a lot of the history where you know, my background, and you'll see all the programs and stuff that I do. So it's a cool little website. Check it out, ancientarian.com, Instagram, at Ancientarian Nutrition, Ancientarian Nutrition. But yeah, those are the two platforms that they'll be able to go and go check it out.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna go. I mean, geez, man.
And if you follow me on IG, I post a lot, but I do post a lot of stories.
You're gonna be hungry.
5 to 8 stories a day.
Really?
It'll
check
out.
Hungry? Is that what you said?
Oh, it's gonna leave you hungry.
Why is that?
Yeah.
He showed everything.
He's not
cooks
lying
and all
about
that?
loving how he cooks.
Oh,
He cooks.
man.
Yeah, so
Right.
I'm a chef. I'm a chef at home, so I chef all my food. So
Okay.
I share a lot of stuff about food, nutrition, health, Eastern medicine, herbs, supplementation, the mind, the soul. I do a lot of coaching.
So you're leading the horse to water.
I'm leading the horse to water.
You just got they got to drink it.
If anything, you don't have to hire me. You don't have to hire any nutritionists. Listen to my stories, and you'll be good.
Awesome.
There we go.
I love that.
Well, we loved having you on here. It was awesome just for you to come.
Oh, this was awesome, bro.
Thanks, man.
Bro,
Appreciate
this was
it.
awesome. I had fun.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Until next time.
Yeah. Episode 2, down to punches and pints.
Let's go.
And then, so what was the deal? He owes us a shot.
Let's go.
Man.
We gotta get it. Let's go.
Buy one, buy two. How many
you
shots?
Buy 2, man. You buy 2.
Let's do it.
Well, hold on. It says buy a shot, treat yourself, or a friend. Are you gonna take 2 shots, or are we gonna
buy
have
a
our own?
shot or treat yourself?
Are you treating yourself to 2 shots?
No, I'm gonna treat a friend.
Okay.
Man.
I'm gonna treat a friend.
If you have to put in the friend has to accept.
Yeah. And so with us too, we're obviously going to get all of our social media stuff and going up, but we are Punches and Pints. I'm Brett at Instagram. I'm at Brett Anthony M. And like on the previous one, my content's very dry, very limited. My life isn't exciting as Marcus's, but
He's lying. He has a very exciting life. But you can find me at Maniac McGee on all platforms. And then also at my website, Maniac McGee as well. So just type that in and you'll be able to find me.
that sounds good. Peace out, y'all.
Let's go.
Shot.
If anyone needs to see, we got the elevated shot glasses. Yeah, I'm sorry for the loss. Salud to the win. Yeah.
Nice.
No, that's the good stuff. Can't go wrong.
Oh yeah. Got it.